that optimism and wish ourselves well. You understand? When we start wishing ourselves well, that there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. And for you, maybe you've got 5,000 euro right now. Do not worry. There's going to be 10 that will be added to it that will make it 50,000 so that you can enjoy this Yuletide, especially the Christmas and the New Year. Can I hear someone say amen? Amen. So quickly, let us go to what is on our table in the discussion segment of the morning. In fact, this lovely morning. Life sentence for drug offenders. Is this a welcome development? Life sentence for drug offenders. Is it a welcome development? And Emmanuel, you would recall that the National Assembly has amended the National Drug Law Enforcement NDLEA Act, prescribing life imprisonment for drug offenders and traffickers. This decision followed the adoption of the harmonized report by the House Representatives as well as the Senate on the NDLEA Act amendment. Any person who unlawfully engages in the storage, custody, movement, carriage, or concealment of dangerous drugs or uncontrolled substances, and while doing so is armed with an offensive weapon or disguised in any manner, commits an offense under this and is liable upon conviction to life imprisonment. The fight against drug is not just about law enforcement, it's about the health, safety, and future of our children and neighbors. Proponents argue that harsh penalties, including life sentences, serve as a deterrent to potential drug traffickers and dealers, discouraging them from engaging in illegal activities.
Now, some people believe that severe punishments are necessary to protect society from individuals who contribute to the drug trade, which can be linked to violence, organized crime, and the civilization of communities. Arguments against life sentences for drug offenders argue that life sentences do not effectively deter drug crimes and that more rehabilitative approaches yield better outcomes. The point to evidence suggesting that treatment and support can lead to reduced drug dependency. The consequences of drug trafficking and distribution are profound. These offenses contribute to violence, corruption, and the destruction of countless lives. Those who engage in such activities often exploit the most vulnerable among us, perpetuating cycles of addiction and poverty. As a society, we cannot stand idle by while these crimes wreak havoc.
A life sentence for drug offenders sends a clear message. We will not tolerate the devastation caused by the drug trade. This is a necessary step to protect our communities and deter future offenses. A life sentence serves as a powerful deterrent, emphasizing the seriousness of these crimes and acknowledging the irreversible damage they cause. However, it is essential to balance justice with compassion. We must also recognize that behind many offenders are stories of struggle and hardship. Our approach should involve a focus on rehabilitation, especially for those who have fallen victim to addiction themselves. We must ensure access to treatment and support aimed at breaking the cycle of dependency.
Now, a researcher once said, implementing life sentences for drug offenders is not merely a punitive measure, it's a commitment to rebuild safer communities. We owe it to ourselves and future generations to take a stand against drug related crime while also fostering pathways for healing and recovery. Now, today on our program, the Thursday edition of Morning Flight on
Yeah.
OGBC 90.5 FM, we shall have your views on this issue. Life sentence for drug offenders. Is this a welcome development? What are the measures government should put in place? Now we're talking about the federal government, the state, and even the local
Local
governments at
governments.
the grassroots should
Yes.
put in place to prevent this menace. This and many more will be our discourse today as we throw the lines open for everyone listening to us, especially callers, have their say today. And as well, you can join us on our social media platforms. You can watch us live on Facebook and on YouTube at Ogun Radio at Bill Peter.
Yeah, most definitely the phones are open this morning for you to be part of the discourse. Life sentence for drug offenders. Is this a welcome development? What is your own recommendation? 0803-437-9453 and 0815-032-0226. Emmanuel, another thing that is actually very, very concerning this morning is about the latest trend, how these people engage in this drug abuse of a thing. Some people will tell you that they will now stick their note inside a latrine. That's something that oozes out. It's just like something that is more or less like a trigger that will raise their spirits and do all sorts.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys, gentlemen in the studio.
Good morning, ma.
This is Oluranto Odela calling from Okiata.
Thank you, sister, for joining us.
I supported. In fact, if I say I want death sentences, people may say I'm so harsh because Asian countries that's what they do, and people get involved in drug there. Talking about what you're just saying, Nama, the way our youth are taking this danger as random recklessly is worrisome. Maybe I've said it before. A nephew of mine was down with kidney and liver disease in taking an injection of 11K every day. I can't count the number of pins of blood he took, but God saved him. Of course, he has learned his lesson. We have youths May hospital suffering from those ailments. But the fact remains that how on earth can every Yabiliki Yasikira be selling that Fenunja because too much of it is too. In fact, every shop you get, they don't sell it. They hang it as if it's a normal thing. Too much of it will destroy their system. So that's just my take. Our government was be proactive about this before we are going to lose our youth. Now, Indian help is take as regular as Adebanjo too. We have Kolo, we have other ones. Those youths are involved in this. If you get to any psychiatric hospital drug section, 90% or 95% of people there went there as a result of Indian help. Only few go there because of cocaine and other hard drug. Because, in fact, this is worrisome. Death sentence should be the one, not life sentence. If it's death, if they know they're going to die, maybe that it should be reduced to minimum level. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Sister Lee.
Contribution.
Another caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Temilade. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, sir.
I am Adebanjo, calling from Ishara. Thank you very much for this beautiful topic. I believe life sentences for drug offenders is still that step in the right direction. That will not switch to really support African punishment because it is not all over the world now. They are reducing that. I think most nations are trying to abandon that. But the hardest or the harshest punishment could be life imprisonment. I don't believe anything less than that should be the for the following reasons. One, when the drug offenders in the same place, again, you protect them from themselves. I know you can do some rehabilitation, so I would suggest that in addition to life imprisonment, there should be rehabilitation programs for them there. If eventually some of them can be rehabilitated
and reintegrated into the society,
then they can be released after old now correctional centers. I think that is the only thing I want to add. Let it be life imprisonment with rehabilitation going on for them. Although the problem of the congestion of our correctional centers is another big issue. But well, since we want to save people from harming themselves and harming the society, there are people who make money from these drugs. The money is so attractive to them. If they are caught, they will not be users. But if they are caught, well, because they are pushing it, because they are making money, of course, that they don't need rehabilitation. It should not be kept there perpetually. Well, hopefully we'll be able to maintain our congested rehabilitation centers. God bless you for bringing this topic up.
Thank you for your contribution, Elders. Now, to meet up, let's look at countries like Iran, who have zero tolerance for drug-related cases. Like in Iran now, the best case scenario is a large fine, and worst case scenario is death penalty. But in Thailand, those trafficking narcotics may be put to death. Drug users are frequently sentenced to mandatory rehab. Now in Dubai, Dubai is known intolerant of drug abuse. Failing a drug test can be grounds for incarceration. Dubai, even if you are not in possession of any drugs. But in Saudi Arabia, alcohol use and drug is illegal in that part of the world, and possession or use of alcohol or any substance can be punished by public flogging, fines, lengthy imprisonment, or death. Now in Singapore, the use of drug is highly prohibited, and if one is convicted for selling drugs, such person is properly sentenced to death. Now, looking at these countries with their different punishments, it varies. Some countries prefer to
just
maybe engage in rehabilitation.
Yes, some monetary fine.
Monetary fine, yes.
Understand? And in our dear country, Nigeria, that is why the NDLEA Act is actually being amended this time around. And it says on that act that any person who unlawfully engages in the storage, custody, movement, carriage, or movement of dangerous drugs or controlled substances, and while doing so with an offensive weapon or disguised in any manner commits an offense under this act and is liable upon conviction to life imprisonment. Understand? So, well, it's different strokes for different folks this time around. You know, in some countries they will say it is death sentence.
Death sentence, outside death sentence.
And there was one time we had this negative image outside our country, Nigeria, especially
in Singapore.
You see many Nigerians on death row just because of what? Drug peddling. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I like the good night, I'm calling from Iraq. You have enough laws for those drug issues. But what I want the agency to do to be more vigilant, both digging in and those that are planting it here. So that is the way it should go. The law we have is enough. Not to say the life imprisonment, I don't support the life imprisonment. We need what we need. We can give them a long, what we call a correctional center, a long year. That is where, because to obtain the life imprisonment, look at the case of our conjugal center now, and the issue of death sentence on those people killing the people, you see that they are majority. The governors, they find people to kill them.
Sorry?
To kill them. So what we need to do is, with our agencies, we need to mark that those bringing in, and then those people that are planting it here, if they are arrested, they take over the land. After taking over the land, so the owner will go planted it, give a long sentence. Then we have a long sentence. And if it's 20 years or 30 years, you add it to your age, whether we are 65 or 45 or 30, you know that guy you are released can't do anything more visible. So you think twice before you do so. So there are so many products you can plant that will give you enough resources to live your life. No, or not be the one that harm the people. So that they are proceeding to get in those areas they are doing it, they have the structure that even when the alcoholic and everything is there, they know quite all right in that area. So but you cannot, because it is the issue of the religion in that area, that religion is need to be for. So the alcoholic and somebody bad. So that is, they can do that one there. But here in this Nigeria, we have a mixed culture, mixed religion, something in that. So what we need is that don't say that and to call those buildings that are taking in, or those people that are planting it here. So our agency, that's what they need. They need to be more vigilant. To be more vigilant. So that's my solution this morning. Thank you.
Thank you for your submission. Alaji Imeto.
Now, 08034379453. Emmanuel, let us also take a look at the effects of drug abuse in our society. Number one, socially. You know, it would, and economically first, it will cost you something to get this drug. Mentally and psychologically, you see a fine young man or a lady, you just look at that person, the person is just dumbfounded for about 5 minutes. You'll be thinking about what is actually going on in the mind of this person. That person may have taken one hard drug,
Especially
and the mind would have traveled somewhere. Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
90.5 FM.
Thank God for that. Let's be sincere. Let me tell you, when we say someone is offended, then we say you should go for that. We'll be spending the money of this Nigeria. We'll be feeding him. So we should be sincere. Let's tell them this, that if you do this, you are going to kill the person that is not doing very well in your area. Then the area will be okay. Many people living in the correction centers are thieves in our area. I am currently also from Shawoto. Many things are happening in Shawoto here now. Many people from flooding something, they are still coming here doing bad things. Even many of them, they go there to go and laugh. They go and laugh. If you still in Yoruba language, our Baba wa, Mama Burúkú, Èṣù kọ́dà máa ń kó bàjẹ́ sọ́tà àfọ̀mọ́tà máa ṣe fún. No go and do this. Many of the people that are living us, most of their children are the people doing this. Then they will not kill them. Even they will kill some people to change some people. We all know all those things. The people that are, if you feel, okay, they meet you with gun. This is gone with you. Then they put you to correction center. We do not go out and get done at the end of the day. So please, let me sincere. If someone is not doing well, finishing, let the little that are.
So, about your advocating death sentence.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you
your
very much.
submission. All the way from Shawanjo this morning.
Yeah, Emmanuel, we're still talking about the religious aspect of itself. You understand? You know, your communication with the
Religious leaders.
religious leaders, you understand? And the way you even approach people, the way you talk, your choice of words, you understand, will be different. You know, when they know that Emmanuel is a kind of lively person, the moment you start taking these things, some things will be taken away from you.
So many changes will start to take place,
Yes.
academically, even morally.
Morally, even academically, someone who used to be on a first class level or on 2-1, and suddenly that person is having some carryovers, D's, E's, and F's, and all sorts. You understand? One would know that this effect of this drug abuse is actually, you know,
To be evident.
to be evident in
insane.
the life of
Person's
this particular
performance.
person. You understand? So the society needs to do something about this, and the NDLA Act is now proposing life sentences for this drug offenders. You, as a person listening to Ozo 9.5 FM right now, do you also support life sentencing for drug offenders? 0803 437 9453 and 0815 032 0226.